You're listening to the Vibrant Vision Podcast, a podcast designed to help you get clarity, increase your confidence, and cultivate the most important connections so you can have the impact you were created to make. I'm your host, Amanda Kerrigan. Now let's get to making that vibrant vision a reality. Hi, welcome to the first official episode of the Vibrant Vision Podcast. And today, we're going to be talking exactly about that. What the heck is a vibrant vision anyway? So let's dive right in. Let's start with, first of all, what is a vibrant vision not? It's not just a goal. I know a lot of people are over goal setting. It's not a New Year's resolution that you set in December and promptly forget about on January 7th. And it's not a vision board. Vision boards are useful. They're kind of trendy. And they can be fun, but they should come out of your vibrant vision. They shouldn't drive what your vibrant vision is. And I think that that's the mistake a lot of people make with their vision boards is they start cutting out things that they're like, oh yeah, I do want a villa in Italy. When really what they want is to be closer to their family. And so I see a lot of people, a lot of my clients have vision boards that don't actually reflect the vision that they have for their lives. It's not a vague, maybe someday this might happen. Maybe I will get that villa in Italy or, take that cruise or whatever. It's not a vague maybe. It's a clear and realistic picture about the future. So let's jump right into what a vibrant vision is. Like I said, it is a clear, specific picture for the future. And it touches all 10 of the areas that we're going to cover today because it's a well-rounded picture of your life. It's not just one particular area. It's not just how much money you're going to make or what kind of career you're going to have or the house you're going to live in, which is a lot of what I hear people talk about. Oh yeah, it's someday I'd like to have this much in my bank account. Well, that's awesome. That's your financial vibrant vision, but it's not the whole picture. And it's still challenging. I think a lot of people these days, especially, have bought into the myth that, well, if I'm not getting it with ease, then I'm doing something wrong. I was a runner in high school, and while I'm not a runner now because of some injuries that I sustained while I was running in high school, but I remember getting the runner's high occasionally, that high of like you did something, you accomplished something hard. And that's what it's really all about, is doing something that is worth doing, even though it's challenging, not because it's challenging. I mean, that whole, why did you climb Mount Everest? And the man answered, because it was there. That's not the reason that we're doing this. The vibrant vision has a certain purpose. It has a purpose, but it's not necessarily something that is going to be easy. So last episode, I talked to you about the 3 pillars of having a vibrant vision. And all 10 of these areas that we're going to talk about really quickly rest on these 3 pillars. So let's recap. The first is clarity. Having clarity about your vibrant vision will allow you to move forward, even when you're uncertain. Now that seems a little contradictory, right? Like, what are you saying, Amanda? What are you saying? Okay, last year, 2020, I don't need to say any more about that, right? Like, I don't need to say any more about that. But I was still moving forward because I had a vibrant vision. I was clear on the objective. Now, the path, unfortunately, had taken a turn, and I was like, whew, not certain about this path. But I knew I was still moving toward the ultimate goal, the ultimate vision. Okay, so clarity will even allow you to move forward when it's uncertain. Next is courage and confidence. Again, even when things are uncertain, even when things seem a little bit rocky and we just don't know what we're doing, we can move forward with courage and confidence because that vibrant vision is going to provide that compass that is pointing you toward the life that you are called to live. Now, it takes courage and confidence to even start to write a vibrant vision. A lot of times, especially now, after 2020, it's hard to dream because things have seemed so impossible, so hard, and so hopeless that it takes great courage to dream again. And it takes great confidence, it feels sometimes, to move toward a vision that you have for your life when things seem uncertain. And finally, connection. And I like to think of this as like a three-legged pillar, because connection is built on three things. Number one, our connection to spirit, to the things that are spiritual. For me, this is God, and I do talk quite a bit about that on this podcast. You are welcome here no matter what your spiritual background is. The second is to ourselves. And I thought when I was first starting to develop these pillars, I thought, oh yes, authentic self, right? Authenticity, because that's what we all want. That's what we all crave. And I'm going to be honest, I'm recording this podcast at 6:00 in the morning. I'm already dressed, ready to go to my day job. And my most authentic self was like, let's go back to bed. Let's not record this podcast. Let's do what we want. That's my authentic self. Sometimes our authentic self is not the prettiest self. And so what is the self that I am talking about connecting to? And that is our highest self, our best self. For me, this is the Amanda that looks the most like Jesus. And that means kindness, means goodness. And that's the self that I want to connect with. Am I going to be that best self every moment? No, I think I'm human still. Just kidding. I know I'm human, and I see all of those imperfections, and I'm sure you do too. And you see the brokenness. Sometimes it pops out and you're just like, wow, that was painful. But when we connect to our highest selves, and we can ask, what would my highest self do in this situation? Then we are really truly connected with that vibrant vision. And finally, the third piece of connection is this idea of connecting with others, which is what we usually think of, right? We usually think of connecting with others. And there are a few people that I want to point out that we will be focusing on connecting with. Number one is our family and friends. Again, 2020 devastated us in this area, and we need to get back to it. We need to get back to, as my sister said, we need to get back to peopling. And it's hard, and I get it, because it's so easy now. We're not in motion, we're on our couches. But even building those connections and making them vibrant again is going to pay tremendous dividends. The next one is our connection to the people that can help us realize our vibrant vision. For me, this is my coach. First of all, this is my coaching colleagues. I would not be sitting here in this chair recording this podcast if it weren't for my coaching colleagues cheering me on, spurring me on, saying, you can do this. Like, this is the time. You have been called to do it at this time, in this moment. And so thank you if you're listening. But we need those people who are going to be our supporters, who are going to be those power partners and willing to connect us with people who need us. And finally, that connection is the people we serve through our vibrant vision. Because really, we are here to impact people, not just ourselves, not just our family, but we're here to make the world a better place. This is something that I call kingdom impact. All right, so let's dive into these 10 areas really quickly. The first one, a lot of people focus on. So I'm going to start with the most obvious, maybe not the most important. So I like to think of my vibrant vision as a wheel. And most of you have probably seen this life wheel, but my slices of pie are not equal. I've got like my dad's slice of pie. He likes pie, so he gets a big slice of pie. But then my grandma is like, no, I don't want very much pie, so she gets a little slice of pie. So your wheel can be sliced up any way you want it to be. So just remember that. If your career is a big hunk of your pie because you don't have family that you're focusing on right now in this season, that's fine. Your slices can shift, they can change with the seasons of your life. So let's start with the most obvious. And the most obvious where people set most of their careers and have most of their vision is their work life, their career. So here's the thing about career. It's one piece, but it tends to take over, especially for those of us who are recovering achievers. It can encompass a lot of things. Your work life can encompass your career at your job. It can encompass your business. If you're an entrepreneur, it can encompass going back to school if you'd like to switch careers. The only thing I want you to remember is that it's important for you to have a vision for your life. And the other thing I want you to remember, the thing I want you to remember is it's important to have a vision for this and to know where you're going. And the other thing to remember is that the life you want should drive the career decisions that you make. The life that you want should drive your career decisions. Your career decisions shouldn't drive the rest of your life. Your career decisions shouldn't drive how much time you spend with your family, because your career is something that allows you to live the life you want. All right, let's talk about the next one. The next one is spiritual. In my wheel in particular, this could be the same for you and it could not be. Your wheel is your wheel, all right? But in my wheel, spiritual is at the center. So if my spiritual life is out of balance, the rest of my life is out of balance too. So for me, this includes quite a few things. It includes, first of all, my prayer time, my time in the Bible, meditation. It includes gathering together with the people in my circle who build me up spiritually. So that includes my group at church, my group of friends that I pray with. And it also includes attending church and learning on a weekly basis. It could include something completely different for you. Remember, this is your vibrant vision. This is not mine. But I just wanted to give you an example of what your spiritual life slice of the pie could include. The next one is physical health. This one seems pretty obvious. Exercise, eat right. You guys know this. It's been shoved down your throat since you were little. But the other thing that it could include is sleep. How much sleep are we getting a night? This is an area that I am working on right now. This is an active personal development area for me, because for me, it's so easy for me to just keep working, keep doing, keep being, keep driving and not go to sleep on time. And it could include building our immunity. So especially for people who are uncertain or, like me, unable to get the vaccine for medical reasons, it's really important to build that immunity, not just because of COVID, but because of cold and flu season. Nobody wants to be sick. And fun fact, 70 to 80% of your immune system is found actually in your gut. So building that immunity and eating right and exercising is all very important. So what do you want your physical health to look like? Because this is one area where it's really easy to get caught in the drift, to be drifting along. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy smoke, I'm 50 pounds heavier than I want to be. I'm 20 pounds heavier than I want to be. Whatever it is, it's so easy to drift in this area because there's so much that is shoved down our throat. Like, not necessarily literally, but figuratively. You see commercials for like sugary cereals and salty chips. And if you don't have a strong vision for your life, guess what? You are going to drift off course. Mental and emotional health is our next one. Oh man, this one convicts a lot of my clients because we don't have a vision for this. Very rarely. In fact, I didn't have a vision for this until I started writing down these 10 areas. What do I want to work with my clients on? What do people really need purpose in? And mental and emotional health really came to the forefront even before the pandemic, because a lot of times we're anxious, we're stressed out, we're depressed. And I heard a statistic the other day that 10% of Americans are on antidepressants. That is frightening. And if you are, that's okay. Like, I believe in getting the medication that you need at the time that you need it. However, here's the thing. If you don't want to be on those antidepressants, you better have a vibrant vision for your mental and emotional well-being. A lot of times we think our thoughts and our emotions are out of our control. That is absolutely not true. If you look at things like cognitive behavioral therapy, you'll learn that our thoughts determine our emotions and then our emotions determine our actions. So if we want to change our actions, we have to change our thoughts. And that starts with capturing those thoughts. It starts with recognizing, okay, what kind of stinking thinking do I have going on here? And that is, what kind of vision do I want to have? Because it's more than just being happy. And we'll talk about this more on the podcast because this is an area where once I start talking about it, people say, wow, I really need that. Family is our next one. Family. Oh my gosh. A lot of times we get so frustrated with our family and we just want to throw up our hands and say, I am not doing this anymore with you people. But what kind of relationships do you want to have with your kids, with your spouse, with your parents, with your siblings? I mean, really, the reason that I moved from Arizona to Colorado in January was so that I could have my vibrant vision with my family. It's still a work in progress, but it's a lot closer than it was because I'm here. I just want to say it's important that we have this vision for our relationships because, again, this is one of the biggest things that will cause us to drift. All of a sudden, you're not close to that teenager anymore. All of a sudden, you're missing basketball games or piano recitals or whatever it is, holidays, because you're choosing to work or choosing to do something else. Then you get to the end of your life and you think, wow, I didn't do that very well. We have the power to choose, and that's what this is all about. We have the power to choose through setting our vibrant vision what we say at the end of our life and what other people say about us. And if you're interested in leaving a legacy, then this is really where you need to have your vibrant vision, it's your family. The next one is friends and social life. And somebody just thought, wait, what's that? Having a social life. It's so important that we have people that we connect with that are outside of our family, but still in our inner circle. Prioritizing relationships that feed your soul and prioritizing relationships that feed your soul and your creativity just is so important. And this could be anybody. This is my family because my family, my sisters are my friends. This is my church family as well, and my life group at church. And this is also my coworkers. I have wonderful coworkers. We go hang out together. And it's just amazing how wide your friend circle can be. So what kind of friends do you want to have? Think about it. Write that down because we can also drift into some really unhealthy relationships. Next is recreation and relaxation. This section of your wheel is where it really starts to get fun because you want to play again. When I was little, I loved to play music and I loved to dance. And now that I'm getting back into those things, it's just been such a joy. So what kind of rest and relaxation do you want to have? Because otherwise you're going to be sitting on the couch, stuffing your face with Cheetos, and your physical health is going to suffer, your mental and emotional health are going to suffer because you weren't intentional about your rest and relaxation. Yes, now you're starting to see all of these areas are going to start overlapping and your pie is going to look a little bit messy. That's okay. So if you've ever felt like life is just, it's not enjoyable anymore, it's not fun anymore, there's a strong possibility that you need some recreation and relaxation, and you need that vibrant vision to re-inspire you to do the things that you want to do. The next one is our lifestyle and our degree of busyness. We run so hard and so fast that we forget that we need margin. We need downtime. We are designed to rest as well as run. What kind of margin do you want in your life? What kind of downtime do you need to recharge? Set a vibrant vision around when you will have off days. When will you have off time? When will you not be constantly doing? And I know this probably sounds a little bit impossible, but even 15 minutes where you just sit and think. Maybe once a week taking a luxurious bubble bath, maybe going for a walk, doing something that gives you that downtime, that off stage time. that will let you perform at your best. And don't be surprised when this area overlaps with rest and relaxation, because having fun is part of downtime. Being a kid again and just running around, maybe playing a game of pickup basketball, or maybe just doing some fun painting, even just like finger painting. I have a friend who really enjoys finger painting, and that's her downtime. That's her time when she's off stage, but she's also having fun. But this is something that you really want to know. How busy do I want to be in my life? Be intentional. Remember, life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And if we continue to sprint, we will burn out and we won't be able to run anymore. I've burned out, and it is not fun. The next area is our personal development. If you're sitting here listening to this podcast, you probably have a pretty good idea of why this is important. But developing a vibrant vision for this area will allow you to be intentional, and it'll allow you to say yes to the right opportunities, because especially these days, there are so many courses you can buy and there's so much money you can spend on personal and professional development that you want to be intentional. Do I need to learn this now? Is this the right season for this course, for this podcast? And if you have courses on your hard drive that have just been languishing and collecting dust, I've done this. And it's probably because you didn't have that vibrant vision. You didn't know what you needed to learn. So you're like, gosh, that sounds really good, but it wasn't the right season. I've done this more often than I'd like to admit, but really just be committed to learning only what you need to know in this season. It's going to help you save some serious money in this area if you have that vibrant vision. Okay, next. Financial. Speaking of the dollar, all right, financial. What do we want to do with our finances? How do we want to spend our money? What do we want to have saved for retirement? I have a friend who is going to help me develop a retirement plan, and I'm just so excited for that. And I'm also going to ask her to come on the podcast to talk about how we can achieve our financial vibrant visions, because she's so good at this and I'm not. But what kind of retirement do you want to have? What kind of home do you want to have? And how much money do you want to be spending on that? A lot of times we can also drift in this area, and all of a sudden our credit card debt is out of control because we didn't have a vision for what we actually wanted to spend our money on. And the last section is our personal comfort. This is a lot of times where we hang out in our vision board. What kind of house do you have? What kind of car do you drive? What are the things that you want? Because sometimes we think, oh yeah, I want a Ferrari, when really, like a Mazda 3 would have done just fine, because we actually really want that big home where we can host our family and our friends more. So those are the areas of a vibrant vision. They're built on those 3 pillars: clarity, courage and confidence, and connection. So this is what we're really going to be focusing on in the podcast. And I'm so excited for the things that we have planned, because they're going to help you achieve this vibrant vision. So if you have been enjoying this podcast, if it's been helping you, I would appreciate a review. It helps us and it helps me reach more people. So until next time, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.